Hello everybody, Austin Hill Shaw here with Creativity Questions and Answers. This week's question comes from Kathleen from San Francisco. She's a freelance copywriter, and like a lot of freelancers and entrepreneurs, she has a lot of responsibility, things that she needs to keep up with. And she writes, how to keep your creativity intact even when you feel like you're working all the time. Wow, this is a big question again. So in order to answer this, I want to go back to my definition of creativity. Creativity is essentially one, connecting with the world, and two, affecting the world in a meaningful way. And I think as Americans and people in the Western world in general, we have a real sense that we need to be productive, and that productivity sort of rules everything in our lives. We're constantly checking our phones, we're checking our messages, we're wondering what we need to get ahead, and we don't have a boss and we don't have a set work schedule, then we tend to work more than perhaps the average person does in another situation where they actually have set hours. So especially for freelancers and entrepreneurs, what I'd like to focus on right now is basically that idea of connecting with the world. The first part of creativity. And when I say that, what I mean is that taking the time to get out of productivity mode and actually just spend time connecting with the world around you. It can be very simple, like taking a walk, for example. Meditation and having a practice in place is a great way of connecting. I like to call it the daily dose of death, where your mind is allowed to die to its habitual patterns and the momentum of the day, and is able to drop into something a little bit deeper, much deeper, which is actually the basis of consciousness itself. Other ways are just stopping to eat your food as opposed to working through your lunch. The idea of basically staying creatively sharp all the time is a bit of a myth, and that, like the seasons, we go through cycles of where we feel inspired, to where we're working, to where we're connecting, to where we're affecting the world in a meaningful way. All these things, if we start to look at the broader picture of what we're doing and not necessarily a day-to-day things, sometimes we will just be doing very basic kind of office or clerical work, and other days we can set aside to actually have a bit of openness to sort of work as opposed to working in our business, as a friend of mine likes to say, work on our business in terms of doing the things that support us being the best we can over time. So again, it is a big question. The other portion of it is that we need to take care of other aspects besides just our mind, which typically, if you're working as a freelancer or an entrepreneur, you're working with your ideas about ways things need to be. In order to do that, again, getting out of your head is really important. You can do that in two ways. You can go into sensorial experiences. For example, you can go and have a nice meal. You can have intimate time with a partner with yours. You can, again, go out into nature. If you let yourself go, there's just sort of a sensuality that's nature that's always there. And the other thing, things like meditation, things like spiritual practices, are ones that actually elevate you into a trans-rational state, where you can pray for people, you can make aspirations, you can go on vision quests. There's all sorts of things that you can do in order to foster your creativity over time, but you really need to start to see it as a whole package. And when you do that, when you recognize that creativity is happening while you're working on anything, and the fact that we're human beings and we have these incredible powers to envision ourselves in the past and anticipate the future and bring our gifts into the world, creativity is happening all the time. So again, take care of yourself and do what you need to do in order to foster your creativity in the long run. And I'd like to thank Kathleen again for sending me this question. Really appreciate that. And this is Austin Hill Shaw with Creativity Questions and Answers. If you have questions, please go to my website, www.austinhillshaw.com, and give me submit your questions on creativity. I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks for tuning in again this week, and we'll check in again next Wednesday.